By 120 BC, the small riverside settlement begins to grow. More wooden huts appear along the Seine. Tribal families trade goods near the water, and life slowly becomes more organized. Roman scouts arrive from the south. New roads are marked across the land, and the quiet tribal village starts transforming under the influence of the expanding Roman Empire. Lutetia emerges as a Roman town. Stone roads replace muddy paths, bathhouses and temples rise, and structured buildings begin replacing the old wooden huts. The Roman city grows rapidly. Bridges improve, organized streets spread across the island, marketplaces become crowded, and workers construct a grand amphitheater. At its peak, Roman Lutetia flourishes with villas, columns, and magnificent stone architecture. Citizens fill the streets as prosperity flows through the heart of the empire. But the glory begins to fade. Roman power weakens, buildings fall into ruin, fewer citizens remain, and a darker atmosphere settles over the city. After the empire's decline, a humble medieval village emerges. Wooden churches stand beside muddy roads as horses and carts slowly move through the settlement. The Frankish kingdom strengthened the town. Defensive walls rise. Church bells echo through crowded streets, and Paris begins its journey toward becoming a true city. During the Carolingian era, monasteries expand and river trade increases. Urban life slowly grows stronger along the banks of the Seine. By the 10th century, Paris becomes tightly packed with medieval homes. Chimney smoke fills the air as merchants and craftsmen bring energy to the growing markets. Stone churches tower above narrow streets. Stronger bridges connect busy districts where traders, travelers, and citizens crowd the city every day. A monumental project begins. Workers lay the foundations of Notre Dame Cathedral as scaffolding rises above the heart of medieval Paris. Gothic architecture transforms the skyline. Craftsmen carve stone day and night while the cathedral climbs higher into the sky. Notre Dame nears completion. Paris grows into a major medieval center where scholars, priests, and students fill the expanding university district. The 13th century brings prosperity. Large markets thrive, noble houses grow stronger, and bridges carry constant movement across the city. Medieval Paris becomes crowded and vibrant. Boats sail the Seine while scholars, traders, and religious processions bring life to every corner. Then disaster strikes. The Black Death leaves streets emptier, skies darker, and fear spreads through the once busy city. Slowly, Paris begins to recover. Homes are rebuilt, markets reopen, and the city breathes with hope once again. By the late medieval period, Paris stands stronger in stone, with growing royal influence shaping the future of the kingdom. The Renaissance transforms Paris into a center of art and culture. Elegant buildings rise beside wider streets filled with new ideas. Royal palaces expand with beautiful gardens. Horse carriages move through fashionable streets as noble life becomes more refined. In the 16th century, Paris grows richer and larger. Bridges multiply, architecture becomes grander, and the city center buzzes with activity. But religious conflict brings tension. Armed guards patrol the streets while uncertainty spreads across the divided city. The 17th century introduces classical elegance. Grand mansions appear as royal planners reshape Paris with cleaner and more organized streets. Under the influence of Louis XIV, symmetry and luxury define the capital. Formal gardens and royal power dominate the landscape. The Enlightenment turns Paris into an intellectual powerhouse. Philosophers gather in salons while elegant fashion fills the lively streets. Stone buildings become more refined, public squares widen, and luxury districts overflow with crowds and commerce. But beneath the wealth, poverty grows. Frustration spreads among the citizens as tension rises before revolution. The French Revolution erupts. Crowds flood the streets carrying flags and demands for change as the old order begins to collapse. After the revolution, Paris struggles to rebuild order. Military forces patrol the streets while leadership changes rapidly. Napoleon reshapes the city with imperial ambition. Grand monuments rise as soldiers march proudly through Paris. The Industrial Revolution arrives. Smokestacks rise into the sky while railways and factories begin transforming urban life. Busy 19th century streets fill with horse trams, crowded markets, and expanding industry as Paris grows larger than ever. Baron Haussmann begins rebuilding Paris. Old neighborhoods disappear while wide boulevards reshape the city forever. A new icon starts rising above Paris. The Eiffel Tower's iron framework climbs dramatically into the sky.
In 1889, the Eiffel Tower is completed for the World Fair. Paris shines with excitement, innovation, and global attention. The early 1900s bring electric lights and automobiles. Grand boulevards glow as modern life accelerates across the capital. World War I darkens the city. Soldiers move through the streets while civilian life slows beneath uncertain skies. The 1920s bring recovery and celebration. Jazz music, cafes, fashion, and art return Paris to its golden cultural age. By the 1930s, Paris becomes a modern metropolis filled with buses, automobiles, nightlife, and growing urban identity. During World War II, occupation changes the city. Soldiers control the streets, while fear and restriction dominate daily life. Liberation finally arrives. Crowds celebrate through the streets as flags wave proudly across Paris. In the 1960s, modernization transforms the capital. Highways expand, apartments rise, and the metro system grows rapidly. The skyline changes during the 1970s. Modern business districts emerge with taller towers and expanding commercial centers. By the 1990s, Paris thrives as a global tourist destination. Bright nightlife and polished streets attract millions from around the world. The early 2000s bring dense traffic, digital technology, and the fast pace of a modern European capital. In 2010, Paris begins focusing on sustainability. Bike lanes expand, while cleaner transportation reshapes the city. By 2020, smart city systems and electric transport become part of everyday life alongside sustainable architecture. The vision of 2030 reveals autonomous vehicles, rooftop gardens, and a greener skyline built for the future. In 2040, advanced urban living features vertical gardens, clean energy towers, and intelligent river systems. By 2050, Paris evolves into a hyper-modern metropolis with floating transit systems and climate-adaptive architecture glowing across the skyline. 2060 shines with transparent structures, advanced AI transportation, and lush greenery integrated into every district. In 2070, Paris becomes an eco-utopia. Solar towers rise above floating parks, while the Seine transforms into a breathtaking green corridor. By 2075, flying transit lanes weave between crystal-like buildings in a vibrant and ultra-futuristic atmosphere. In 2078, humanity reaches extraordinary advancement. Paris operates as a glowing smart city powered by near-perfect sustainability. And finally, Paris in 2080 stands as a masterpiece of human achievement, a peaceful high-tech utopia where floating gardens